So I'll get into the side deck and the extra deck. So I'll just go over the extra deck quickly because I think that's the fastest. So I have Armory Arm, Catastor, Android, Bionic, Goyu, Black Rose, Darken, Thought Ruler, Colossal, Double Arm Wing, Stardust, Armor Master, and Silverwind. Alright. I mean, it's just all standard. There's nothing really special to say. Oh, this is just a Gores token. Yes, and my Gores token. The only special card here that's not typically seen in Black Wings is Armory Arm. And the reason why I have this in my extra deck is because of one card in my side deck that I'm gonna explain soon. But the rest, this is just standard Black Wings. They all pretty much play all of these cards, so nothing special. All right, onto the side deck. So this is the first card, Falsodina. This is one of my favorite side deck cards. It's really good against frogs. So if you're ever up against the frog matchup, like Frog Hero, or any decks that special summon a lot, like Diva Hero or the Quick Draw deck, a lot of times, players don't have out to this card. Even today at the tournament, I saw somebody playing Dragon Turbo. I was quite surprised to see it here in Korea, because it's not that popular in America, but it is a good deck and it's been doing well in tournaments. But also Falsodina wrecks that deck, because they don't have anything that they can summon to beat over Falsodina. This card just wins games by himself. But the only reason why I play one is because, like I said before, Black Wings, the deck, it synergizes with Blackwing cards. And this is not a Blackwing card. It's a rock monster, right? Yeah, so like I can't pair him with Icarus, so at the end of the day, you want to save your normal summons for Black Wings because that's what Whirlwind works off of, that's what Icarus works off of. So just one Falsodina is enough. It's really good. Next, I have Triple Raikou. And this is why I have Armory Arm in the extra deck, because Blizzard and Raikou can make an Armory Arm. Now, the reason why I side Triple Raikou, so here's another tip to beat Black Wings. One of the best cards to beat Black Wings is a monster called Consecrated Light. So Consecrated Light says that it has an attack of 0 and a defense of 0. So it sounds pretty useless, but it's actually really good. It says neither player can summon dark monsters, period. And when you look at the Blackwing deck, so let's just go over it really quickly, like dark, 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 dark.
All dark.
Yeah, it's all dark, right? So a card that says neither player can summon dark monsters is really, really, really good. So neither player can summon dark monsters, and neither player can attack with dark monsters. And any battle between this card and a dark monster goes to 0. It's like how do Black Wings beat that card? So because it's so powerful, that's why I have Raikou, because Raikou's not a dark, he's a light monster. And this also beats Royal Decree. So like I said earlier, like if you want to beat Black Wings, like kind of a lock is Consecrated Light and Royal Decree. So Raikou outs both Consecrated and Decree. I was very lucky today because nobody sided either one of those cards against me today, but maybe in the future, maybe everyone was expecting me to play Diva Hero, I don't know. But in the future, if you want to beat Black Wings, Consecrated Light, Royal Decree, it's really good. So anyway, Triple Raikou, it's really good. It's also good against the Hero Beat matchup. So Black Wings have a hard time against Hero Beat because Alias is 19. And aside from Sirocco, Black Wings don't have anything that can beat over 19 easily. And even though, like, yes, they have Kalut, well, Hero Beat has Honest, right? So they can't even do that. So it's really, really hard for Black Wings to beat Hero Beat. So I just side Triple Raikou, I set the Raikou, and usually the Hero Beat player will attack, and they're gonna think, oh, it's a value that he said. Flip it up, it's Raikou, get rid of the Alias. Now Gemini Spark is dead, because you can't activate it in the damage step. You can't Honest either, because it would be useless. You would just waste your Honest, right? So Raikou's really good. Next up, we have double DD Crow. I side these in for any decks that use Pot of Avarice, because if you Crow one of the targets from Pot of Avarice, the card doesn't resolve, so it's really good. I also side this in for Vayu Turbo, because Vayu Turbo sends so many cards to the grave. They send Necro, they send Plague, they send Sirocco, they send Vayu. So one thing you should know about Crow is you can actually chain it to the activation. I see some players, like as soon as a Vayu or Sirocco or Plague hit the grave, they like Crow immediately. That's not good. You want your opponent to waste their resources, especially with Plague Spreader, because putting a card from your graveyard to the top of the deck is a cost. So they'll put their card on the top, and then you'll just chain crow, and now they still draw that same card, and their play gets banished. So it's really good when you're activating DD Crow to wait. Same thing with Vayu. So Vayu's effect, you can just chain to it. So when they go Vayu effect, just crow. Now, of course, there's certain times where it's like you might want to do it preemptively. If you have a read that your opponent has dark arm, you can just crow so they don't get 3 darks. And even in the tournament, there was a point where I had 2 darks and I went crow and then I dropped my dark arm. But you have to know how Yu-Gi-Oh works too. So I asked my opponent after I crowed if they have a response, because you can't just go crow someone dark arm. That's not how Yu-Gi-Oh works, right? Yu-Gi-Oh is a game of interaction where both players have a chance to make a play. So after you crow, your opponent has a chance to respond. And if they pass their priority, then at that point you can drop dark arm. So just always remember the order of how Yu-Gi-Oh works. Next up, Soul Release. This card is really good. It's a good against Lightsworns, which I actually played in tournament, and I Lightsworn. I went Soul Release, and I got rid of like 3 or 4 of the guys' Lightsworns, and like he just lost. There was nothing he could do. But the main reason why I have this in isn't for Lightsworns, it's for Hero Frog. Because when you're going up against Hero Frog players, especially the ones that are new, who aren't quite as experienced with the deck, they generally send both their Treeborns to the grave when they're thinning their deck out with Substitute. So as soon as you see double Treeborn Frogs, just Soul Release, get rid of both their Treeborn Frogs. Then when you destroy their Dupe Frogs, they don't even get anything, right? Because you can also get rid of the Swamp Frogs as well. So this card is really, really good. You only need 1. You don't need more than 1. But yeah, Soul Release is great. Nobleman. This card you can use for any deck that sets monsters. I mostly just sided in for Vayu Turbo. So it's good against hitting their hamsters, their Raikos, sometimes their Necros, sometimes their Vayus. But the main card you want to hit is Raiko. But yeah, Nobleman is really good. I only side 1 because I already have so many cards for the Vayu Turbo matchup. I have DD Crows, I have Nobleman, I have the main deck Devi, so just 1 Nobleman to know. Mind Control. This is actually another card that I sided for Vayu Turbo. So like my kind of history is like I have a very bad record against Vayu Turbo. So I got 2nd at Nationals with Diva Hero. And the deck that I lost to was Vayu Turbo. So it's like that deck kind of scarred me. So it's like I generally I'm always thinking about how I can beat Vayu Turbo. And this card is really good against siding them because 1, you can mind control their cards like Dark Greffer. You can mind control their cards like Sirocco and you can pump. And if you mind control their Greffer, you can pitch your own Vayu Sirocco. You can also mind control their face down hamsters and Raikos. So against the Vayu Turbo matchup, actually I side in mind control and 1 Raiko. Because if I go mind control and I take their hamster, they're gonna be like, you get a dead card. And then I'll flip it up and I'll get the Raiko out of my deck. And you just get so many pluses. So I just do 1. But yeah, mind control, really, really good. The second impression, I already explained what oppression is good against, so we'll just go to the next. Compulsory, again, for Vayu Turbo. Double pulling the rug. This is good against Monarchs in particular. I think the best card against Monarch is pulling the rug. And also another good card is Mask of Restrict. But I can't side Mask of Restrict in Black Wings because you tribute cards with Icarus Attack. But for those of you who don't know, Mask of Restrict says neither player can tribute cards. But it's not just tribute summon, it's any kind of tribute. So that means they can't activate Substitute Effect, they can't activate Enemy Controller, they can't activate Soul Exchange, they can't normal summon a Monarch, they can't do anything. Like it's really, really, really good. And in Diva Hero, I actually side deck Mask of Restrict. And lastly, the Double Dust Tornado. This is mostly good against like rogue decks that have like a lot of back rows. Like I played a macro deck in the tournament. It's good in the mirror match. You can hit like the Whirlwinds and their other Icarus Attack, other back rows. So Dust Tornado is a really, really good card. In certain scenarios, you can also do tricks because Dust Tornado can make certain effects miss timing. So I didn't see this deck today, but this is kind of a popular rogue deck. The Machina deck that plays like Gear Town. So let's say like you go Dust Tornado and you hit their Gear Town. If you set a back row with Dust Tornado's effect, Gear Town misses timing. Because the last thing that happens when you set a card, right? So Dust Tornado is really, really, really good. I think people kind of underestimate how good this card is. And that's the main deck. So that's everything, main, side deck, and extra. So I'm sure you have some questions. I know I talked a lot, but I hope that was really helpful to like
내가
players.
그러면 오늘 게임을 하면서 제일 이게 좋았던 카드.
Easy. That's easy. Come on, you already know the answer to that.
Okay. Jack Down Dragon is
But I
best
mean-
card.
I didn't really draw Dark Arm that much in the tournament though. I'd say like maybe my MVP card.
MVP card.
It's hard. Maybe Brain Control. I actually pulled Brain Control quite a lot throughout the tournament. So I mean, Dark Arm, Brain Control. Like if I had to pick another MVP card, I'd probably say Deck Daddy. Yeah, these were the 3 MVP cards. Monster Spell Trap MVP. Yeah, but Dark Arm above all. But when I drew it, yeah, 1, 2, 3.
덱을 쓰면서 상대하기 힘들었던 덱. 오늘 상대하기 힘들었던 덱이 있나?
What was difficult?
Hard match.
Yeah. What was difficult? So, as I explained, for me, Bayou Turbo is always very difficult. But I think I improved a lot at the matchup because I was always thinking, oh, how can I do better? How can I do better? And I changed my side deck because before my side deck wasn't very strong against Bayou Turbo. So it's kind of advice to players. If you're having trouble with the matchup, then you need to first change your side deck.
Okay.
And if your side deck doesn't work, then first change your main deck. Then second change your main deck. But another thing to keep in mind is this is what a lot of newer players do. I'm losing against this matchup. And they side like 10 cards for the matchup. That's wrong. Never do that. Because when you side like 10 cards, your deck's engine is not going to work anymore. So you only really want to side about like maybe 4 to 5 cards most. Like if anyone were watching any of my games, I never really sided more than like 4 to 5 cards. Like that's the average. And if that's still not helping you, then you need to figure out other ways to improve on the matchup. Either change your deck completely. Maybe you're just playing a bad deck, right? Change cards in your main deck, but you shouldn't be siding more than 4 to 5 cards. But my hardest matchup, I mean, I only lost 1 round today, so it was against Park Jae-hyun. So maybe that was my hardest matchup. I think also like I was a little bit stressed out, not to like make an excuse, but I was a little bit stressed out because we were just starting the tournament. It was like round 1, and Jae-hyun, he's one of the best players here in Korea that I've played. He's a really great player. But I was a little stressed out, like trying to make sure everybody was situated. And then I was like, first match of the day, not playing very well, like setting everything, getting Heavy Storm for like 3. It was awful. Yeah, I think that was my hardest matchup of the day. So shout out to Jaehyun.
그러면 제일 쉬웠던 매치
Easiest match? Funny enough, my easiest match was against like this Macro Monarch player. Yeah, and I feel really bad for him because he said, oh, I'm so happy, I can't wait to play against you. And I must have finished that set in like 10 minutes. Like the whole set, maybe like 10 minutes max. Because like I opened up like Dark Arm and like all these other craziness and he just couldn't win. So that was the easiest matchup, like surprisingly, yeah.
한국 에디슨 대회를 했는데 미국에 비해서는 좀 어떤지 한국 대회가.
So I think that Korean players are really good at Yu-Gi-Oh. So I want to say that I think they're really good at Yu-Gi-Oh. But of course, Edison is new to Korea, right? So when I compare it to America, in America we've been playing for like 2 years, you know? So imagine like if you have an older brother and you're playing like video games with your older brother, and your older brother's been playing for 2 years, it's gonna be really hard to beat him, right? So I do think that there's a lot of potential with the Edison scene here in Korea. And when I talk to many people, they're really happy. They said it's a new format, it's fresh, it's fun. So I think that it's going to grow a lot here in Korea, and I'm going to do what I can to push it to grow as well. So I like Edison in America, I like Edison in Korea, and I think that the players here are great. The community is so nice too. Everybody is asking questions because like they want to get better, and I just feel like at home. Like I'm really happy to play Edison here in Korea, and I hope that it becomes as big as Edison in America or bigger.
그 인터뷰는 일단 last question.
Okay.
예, 왜 디바 히어로 버렸는지.
Okay.
Why you black win?
Yeah, actually, so my Discord name is A True Hero, right?
Okay, right.
And my dueling book name too, A True Hero.
Okay.
So whenever I play Black Wings, my fans in America, they say, oh, you're a true villain. So I love Diva Hero because I've gotten a lot of success with it, but Diva Hero is hard to play in the current meta because of cards like Royal Oppression, False Odina, and Vanity's Fiend. My friends who also play Diva Hero, they changed the deck to make it better against those cards. But I don't like the way that Diva Hero is, that they changed it to. So I switched because of that reason. And also last week there was a very small Edison tournament and I played Diva Hero. I got second place and I lost against
Turbo.
So I didn't want everybody to think, oh, A True Hero, he's going to play Diva Hero today. So I wanted to be like surprised. Like, oh, I can play more than just Diva Hero, right? Like all the decks. So that's why I switched to Black Wings. I think they're really good against all the matchups. So that's why. And last thing that I want to say is like just shout outs. So I'm very happy to have won the event, but I have to give a shout out to Hyunmyeon. Without him, this would not have happened. He's the reason why Edison is here in Korea. Maybe my face is on the camera, but he's the reason. He's the reason why Edison is here. And he's put up a lot with me. I know he was getting really stressed out working with me, but still, he was so nice and kind throughout all of it. So I'm very thankful to him. And Alex too. Alex, if I never got a chance to meet him, I would have never met Hyunmyeon. So there'd be no Edison big tournament today, right? So big shout out to Alex. Big shout out to Hyunmyeon. Shout out to my team, Perfect Circle. Shout out to all my fans. And I'm thankful for everything, and that's all from me.
Okay, thank you, 인터뷰.
감사합니다.
Okay, 감사합니다.